The ship left in spring with 40 men, experienced crew, good captain, standard trading voyage to the western settlements. Expected return, 6 months. 6 months passed, no word. Families waited, worried. But delays were common. Weather, trade negotiations, repairs. Another month, still acceptable. Then on the 7th month, a lookout spotted sails approaching the harbor. The ship, their ship, returning. The families rushed to the docks, excited, relieved, ready to welcome their men home. But as the ship drew closer, something felt wrong. The sails were set perfectly. The course was true. The ship was undamaged. Everything looked normal, except nobody was on deck. No crew visible. No one steering. No one adjusting sails. Just an empty vessel sailing itself into harbor with impossible precision. The ship docked perfectly, as if guided by invisible hands. The harbor master boarded, searched the entire vessel. Cargo intact, supplies present, personal belongings in place, navigation, logs current up to 3 weeks ago. No signs of violence, no blood, no struggle. Just 40 men gone, vanished completely. The ship had returned home, but the crew had not, and nobody could explain how an empty vessel had navigated hundreds of miles of open ocean to dock itself perfectly in its home port. Northern Harbor Settlement, late autumn 908 AD. A prosperous trading port where 3 rivers met the sea. The settlement lived on trade, ships coming and going constantly, bringing wealth and connection to distant lands. The ship was called Havfru, Sea Maiden, a sturdy Nar-style vessel, 15 years old, well-maintained, reliable, owned by a collective of families who'd pooled resources to build her. Her captain was Bjorn Haverson, 45 years old, 25 years of sailing experience, known for his caution and skill. Never lost a ship, never lost a man, respected by everyone who knew him. The crew of 40 included sailors, traders, craftsmen, ages ranging from 14 to 60, some experienced, some new, but all under Bjorn's command, all trusted to his care. They'd left in early spring, standard trading run, west to the settlement territories, trade Norse goods for foreign luxuries, iron, furs, amber going out, silver textiles, exotic goods coming back. 6-month voyage, done it dozens of times. The families who had men aboard, wives, children, parents, siblings, knew the risks. Sea travel was dangerous. Ships went down, men drowned. It was the price of the wealth trade brought. But they trusted Bjorn, and they trusted Havfru. The ship had never failed them. When 6 months passed with no return, worry began, but not panic. Delays happened, bad weather, extended negotiations, repairs in distant ports. 7 months, still acceptable, though families were anxious. When the lookout called out that Havfru had been spotted, the relief was overwhelming. They were home. Finally, everything was fine until the ship got closer. The harbor master was Thorvald Eriksson, 42 years old, spent his entire life around ships, could read a vessel from a distance, identify problems, assess damage, judge the competence of the crew by how they sailed. He was standing on the dock when Havfrua approached. Something immediately felt wrong. The sails were set well, too well, perfect trim for the wind conditions, the kind of precision that took constant adjustment. But he saw no one on deck making those adjustments. The course was exact, threading through the harbor approaches with dangerous accuracy, avoiding the rocks that had claimed lesser vessels. But he saw no one at the steering oar. "Where's the crew?" someone asked. Thorvald didn't answer, just watched, unease growing. The ship approached the dock, didn't slow, should have dropped sails by now, should have crew preparing lines, should have, at the last possible moment, the ship turned perfectly, lined up parallel to the dock, momentum carrying it forward just enough, and stopped right at the mooring position, exactly where it should be. Impossible without a crew, but it had happened. The families rushed forward, calling names, looking for their men. "Bjorn! Father! Harold! Are you there?" Silence. No response. No movement on the ship. Thorvald grabbed a rope, pulled the ship closer, secured it, called out, "Bjorn! This is Thorvald! Report!" Nothing. He boarded, cautiously, drew his knife, not sure why, but instinct demanded it. The deck was clean, well-maintained. No damage, no blood, no bodies, just empty. He searched the cargo hold, full of trade goods, expensive items, silver, textiles, spices, all secured properly, none of it stolen or disturbed. The crew quarters, bunks made, personal items present, a man's wooden comb, another's spare boots, letters from home carefully stored, the captain's cabin, Bjorn's navigation instruments, his charts, his logbook. Thorvald opened opened the log, read the final entries. The handwriting was Bjorn's. Steady, clear, no signs of distress. Final entry. Week 24, day 3. 1 day from home harbor. Weather excellent. Crew eager to see families. Should arrive tomorrow midday. All is well. That was 3 weeks ago, but the ship had arrived today, on schedule, to the exact berth. 3 weeks later than the log ended, but perfectly on time for a 6-month voyage, as if the ship had continued sailing itself for 3 weeks after the crew vanished. Thorvald felt cold. This wasn't right. This wasn't natural. He returned to the deck. The families were waiting, anxious, hoping for news. He had to tell them, had to say the words that would destroy them. The ship is empty. No crew, no bodies, no signs of struggle. They're just gone. The reaction was immediate. Denial, anger, grief, panic. They must be below deck. Search again. They're hiding. This is a joke. But it wasn't a joke. Multiple people searched. Every space, every storage area, every possible hiding place. Empty. Completely empty. 40 men vanished. The families couldn't process it. Their loved ones hadn't drowned. The ship was intact. Hadn't been killed by pirates. No violence. Cargo untouched. Hadn't abandoned ship. Their personal belongings were all present. They'd simply ceased to exist, somewhere between the final log entry and the ship's return. Theories spread quickly. Wild theories. Desperate theories. They were taken by sea creatures. A curse. Spirits. They angered the gods. They're still alive somewhere, lost on an island. They'll return. This is temporary. But Thorvald had sailed for 25 years. He'd seen shipwrecks, pirate attacks, storms, disasters. He'd never seen anything like this. An empty ship sailing itself home with perfect navigation. That wasn't natural. That wasn't explainable. That was wrong. The settlement elder, a woman named Astrid, 60 years old, wise and practical, called a council meeting that evening. "We must decide what to do with the ship," she said, "and we must decide quickly." "What do you mean, decide?" a widow demanded. "We need to find our men." "How?" Astrid asked gently. "The ship is here. The crew is not. Where would we search? The route. Retrace their path. Find where they disappeared. And who would sail the ship? Who would volunteer to crew a vessel where 40 men vanished?" Silence. No one answered. Thorvald spoke. "My brother was aboard, Harold. I need to know what happened to him. I'll sail it. I'll search." "Alone?" Astrid asked. "No. I'll need a crew. Volunteers." More silence. Fear was palpable. Finally, a young man stood. "I'll go. My father was aboard. I'll help search." Then another. "My uncle." Another. "My husband." Slowly, 12 people volunteered, some motivated by grief, some by duty, some by a refusal to accept that their loved ones were simply gone. Thorvald looked at them. Most weren't experienced sailors, but they were willing. "We leave in 3 days," he said. "We follow Havfru's route backward. We search every island, every port, every possible location. We find answers, or we don't return." Astrid raised a concern. "And if whatever took the first crew takes you too, then we've lost 52 people instead of 40. "Then you'll know," Thorvald said. "You'll know the ship is cursed. You'll know to burn it. You'll know not to search further." "That's not comforting. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be honest." The 3 days of preparation were tense. The 12 volunteers made arrangements, said goodbyes that might be final, wrote letters to be opened if they didn't return. The ship sat at dock, silent, waiting. People avoided walking past it. Children were kept away. Superstition grew. "It's hungry," some said. "It took 40. It wants more." "Burn it," others insisted. "Don't risk more lives." But the families of the missing couldn't accept that, couldn't give up without trying. Thorvald spent those 3 days examining every inch of Havfru, looking for clues, signs, anything that might explain. He found strange details. A rope tied to the mast, the other end cut cleanly, as if it had been holding something or someone. But for what purpose? In the galley, food prepared but not eaten, 40 plates set out, ale poured, a meal interrupted. In the crew quarters, bunks made, but one blanket was pulled aside, as if someone had gotten up suddenly, left in a hurry. On deck, a single boot, just one, no pair. No explanation why someone would remove one boot and leave it. Each detail raised more questions. No answers, just impossibilities stacking on impossibilities. The night before departure, Thorvald couldn't sleep, kept thinking about Harold, his younger brother, 38 years old, 3 children, good man, experienced sailor. What had happened to him? Where was he? Was he alive somewhere, waiting for rescue? Or was he dead, lost forever to some inexplicable disaster? Thorvald needed to know, even if the answer destroyed him. They departed at dawn. 13 people on a ship meant for 40. It felt wrong. Too much empty space, too many unused bunks, too many absent voices. The settlement watched them leave, silent, worried. Some wept, some prayed, some simply stared, as if memorizing the faces of people they might never see again. Havfru sailed smoothly, responded well to the skeleton crew almost too well, as if the ship itself wanted to return to where its crew had vanished. They followed the navigation log, retracing the route exactly, west along the coast, then north, following the trading path. Days passed. Nothing unusual, just sailing, searching islands, finding nothing. But at night, the ship felt wrong. Creaking sounds that shouldn't be there, shadows that moved wrong, a feeling of presence. One volunteer, a young woman named Sigrid, swore she heard singing, faint, distant, coming from below deck. They searched, found nothing. Another volunteer claimed he saw a figure on deck, transparent, there for a moment, then gone. "You're imagining things," Thorvald said, but he wasn't sure. He felt it too, something watching, something waiting. 2 weeks into the voyage, they reached a small island, remote, uninhabited, but the navigation log indicated the original crew had stopped there, taken on fresh water. They searched, found the water source, found evidence of a camp. 40 men had been here, and found something else, carved into a rock face, symbols, not Norse runes, something else, something older, circular patterns, spiral designs, unsettling to look at. And below the symbols, words in Norse, scratched desperately, different handwriting, multiple people. "Don't listen, cover your ears. The song is death. We tried to resist. Forgive us." Thorvald felt his blood go cold. The song, what Sigrid had heard, what others claimed to hear at night on the ship. "We need to leave," he said, "now." That night, as they sailed away from the island, the sounds began. Singing, beautiful singing, coming from everywhere and nowhere. Multiple voices harmonizing, wordless, haunting, impossibly beautiful. The crew members stopped what they were doing, turned toward the sound, faces blank, eyes unfocused. Thorvald felt it too, the pull, the desire to listen, to follow, to go toward the sound. He forced himself to move, grabbed Sigrid, shook her. "Cover your ears, don't listen." But she couldn't hear him, was already moving toward the rail, toward the edge, toward the water where the singing came from. Others were doing the same, walking slowly, dreamlike, toward the source of the sound. Thorvald understood. This was what had taken the original crew. Not violence, not curse, something that called them, drew them, made them walk willingly into the ocean. Sirens, spirits, something ancient that humans shouldn't encounter. He grabbed a rope, tied it around his waist, tied the other end to the mast, then moved to each crew member, pulled them back, tied them down, fighting against their struggle to reach the sound. They fought him desperately, not understanding why he was stopping them. The singing was beautiful. They needed to go to it, needed to answer. One by one, he restrained them, saved them from themselves. But he couldn't cover his own ears, couldn't stop hearing, couldn't stop the pull. The singing grew louder, more insistent, more beautiful. Thorvald felt himself moving toward the rail, toward the edge, rope pulling taut around his waist. He wanted to cut it, wanted to go to the sound. It promised peace, belonging, an end to grief. His hand moved to his knife. He could cut the rope, could join his brother, could go where Harold had gone. The knife touched the rope. Then he saw something, a memory. Harold's children, 3 small faces, waiting for their father, waiting for news. If Thorvald went to the singing, they'd never know, would wait forever, would always wonder. He couldn't do that to them. He pulled back, tied his own hands to the mast. Couldn't stop hearing, couldn't stop wanting to go, but could stop himself from acting on it. The singing continued all night, hours of beautiful, terrible sound. By dawn, it faded, stopped, released them. The crew woke as if from a dream, confused, didn't remember the singing, didn't understand why they were tied up. Only Thorvald remembered, had fought through it, stayed conscious. He understood now. This was what had taken 40 men. They'd heard the singing, followed it, walked into the ocean, drowned, willingly, peacefully. The ship had sailed on without them, following its last set course, navigating by wind and current until it reached home. Mystery solved, question answered. But the knowing didn't help, didn't bring Harold back, didn't give those children their father. They returned to the settlement 3 weeks later. 13 people, all alive, all haunted. Thorvald reported everything to Astrid and the gathered families. "Your men heard something in the ocean. It called them. They went willingly. They're gone. There's no rescue, no survivors, no bringing them back." "What called them?" someone asked. "I don't know. Something old, something we shouldn't have encountered, something that shouldn't exist, but does." "Can we recover the bodies?" "No. They walked into deep water. They're gone." The grief was overwhelming, but at least it was grief with understanding, not the torture of endless unknowing. The settlement elder made a decision. "The ship will be burned. We can't risk this happening again. Can't risk another crew hearing that call." Thorvald agreed. "Burn it. Salt the ashes. Let nothing remain." The families of the lost men gathered for the burning, watched Havfru, the ship that had come home but left its soul behind, catch fire, burn, sink. No one spoke, just watched, mourned. returned, said goodbye to men whose bodies they'd never recover, whose graves would be empty ocean. After it was done, Thorvald found Harold's wife, his brother's widow, the mother of 3 children who'd never see their father again. "I'm sorry," he said. "I couldn't save him, couldn't bring him back. But you found the truth," she replied. "You gave us understanding. That's something. That's enough, is it? It has to be." Years later, Thorvald would still hear the singing in his dreams. Beautiful, terrible, calling him. He never sailed again, couldn't. The ocean had taken his brother and nearly taken him. But he'd survived, returned, told the truth. Some mysteries have answers. Those answers don't always help, don't bring back the lost, don't heal the grief. But they end the waiting, the hoping, the torturous not knowing. The ship that returned empty had taught them something. There are forces in the world beyond understanding, things that call us to our doom with beautiful voices. And sometimes surviving means refusing to answer, refusing to follow, refusing to find out what waits at the end of that song. The ocean keeps its dead, and the living who return must carry the weight of knowing without the comfort of understanding why. 40 men heard a song. 40 men walked into the sea. 40 families mourned, and one ship sailed itself home, empty, silent. A floating grave that told no tales except through absence. That's the mystery of Havfru, the ship that came back, the crew that didn't, and the singing that still haunts the dreams of the few who survived to hear it.